Thursday, the S&P 500 closed at a record, highest close in its history, and almost none of it happened after 10:30 in the morning. Here's what the record headline doesn't tell you. The high of the entire day printed at 10:30. 5 minutes later, the market went back up for it and missed by 1 cent. 1 cent. Then it never got close again for 5 straight hours. Underneath all that, the Dow spent half the session in the red, and the fear gauge on a record day went up. 3 warnings hiding inside a record. This is the replay. Before we go anywhere, I owe you a scoreboard. Last episode, I ended on exactly one number, 77.38. That was the floor sellers attacked 7 times on Wednesday and could not break. And I told you what it meant. Floor holds, the relief is real. Floor breaks and that gap fills, the whole story was rented. So how did Thursday answer? Sellers never got a vote. The lowest price the S&P traded all day long was 77.63.18. That is 25 points of clear daylight above the floor. The line was never tested, not once. That is what a level doing its job looks like, and it is exactly why the 3 numbers I give you at the end of this video matter more than the headline at the top of it. Now start the clock. 9:30 in the morning, the S&P gaps up almost 15 points and opens at 77.63.18. Write that number down because here is the strange thing about Thursday. That opening print, the very first price of the day, was the lowest price of the day. Not the low of the morning, the low of the whole session. Anybody waiting for a better entry never got one. And then it ran. 9:35, 9:45, 10 o'clock, 10:15, up, 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 up. By 10:30, the index had added 53.5 points off that open. Remember that figure, 53.5, because it is also the entire high to low range of the whole trading day. Every point the market traveled, it traveled in the first hour. 10:30 in the morning, 78.1670. That is the high of Thursday, August 13th, 2026. Now watch what happens next, because this is the part almost nobody looks at. The very next bar, 10:35, price goes right back up to 78.1669. 1 cent short, 1 cent. Buyers dragged it all the way back to the exact same shelf and could not put a single penny on top of it. That is not noise. That is a ceiling with somebody standing on it. 2 touches, 5 minutes apart, and the second one comes up a penny short. On an index that moves in whole points, a penny is not luck. Somebody was working an exact price. And from that second failure, the market never came back. 5.5 hours left in the session, and the highest print in all of it was 78.0692 at 5 past 3, almost 10 full points underneath. Hold that number, 78.1670. In about 3 minutes, I'm going to show you what it cost. Here's the story that went out. Record high close, rate worries easing, NASDAQ rallying. Every word of that is true, and every word of it describes about 60 minutes of a 6.5 hour day. So look at what the tape actually did after that ceiling. 10:30 high, 78.1670. By 11:55, the S&P was trading down at 77.7692. That is 39.75 points handed straight back. 74% of the day's entire range gone in 85 minutes. So the honest sentence about Thursday is not stocks rallied to a record. It is stocks rallied for 1 hour and then spent the rest of the day defending it. Those are 2 completely different markets. And if you only read the first one, you walked into Friday believing you had momentum that the tape had already taken away. Let me slow this right down because the next detail is my favorite thing on the whole chart. The second bar of the day, 9:35 in the morning, bottomed at 77.7641. 2 hours and 20 minutes later, after the ceiling failed and all that selling came in, the deepest print of the entire midday was 77.7692. 51 cents apart. And it was not one lucky touch. 12 5-minute bars in a row, 11:25 through 12:20, all bottomed inside a band 5 points wide. Here's the mechanism in plain English. The first 10 minutes of trading wrote down the price everybody could live with. The middle of the day was the market walking back to that price to check its own handwriting. It held. Nothing on that chart was random. And that is the part that matters going forward, because a floor built out of 12 bars of agreement is a floor you can actually trade against. Next time price comes back to 77.77, you already know what happened there. Now leave the S&P alone for a minute. Go and look at the Dow, because the Dow had a completely different Thursday. It topped at 54,049 at 10:20, 10 minutes before the S&P's ceiling. Then it fell 426 points down to 53,622 by 11:25. And that low sat 148 points below Wednesday's close. Read that again. On the day the S&P printed a record, the Dow traded properly red. 39 of the session's 78 bars closed underneath Wednesday's close, exactly half the day underwater. It scraped back to finish up 0.1% while the Nasdaq ran up 1.15. So when somebody tells you the market about Thursday, they had to pick one. And there is one more thing hiding in that same window. 11:20. Micron tags 978, up 7.3%, its high of the day. 11:25. The Dow prints its session low. 11:25 to 12:20, the S&P builds that shelf we just walked through. 3 different turns, 3 different instruments, 1 5-minute window. Then watch the split. Micron gave back $28 from that high and closed up 4.2. It handed back 42% of its own gain. But Palantir, Tesla, and Meta all made their highs of the day after 3 o'clock. In Meta, the same Meta that closed Wednesday down 3.4 pennies off its low, closed Thursday up 2.8, 88 cents off its high. Money did not leave the market on Thursday afternoon. It moved. So here's the tell that nobody printed. The S&P closed at a record, and the VIX, the fear gauge, closed at 1457, up, not down, up on a record high close. Fear refused to confirm the record, and the record itself closed at 77.98.99, 17.5 points below the high it made at 10:30, a record close that never got back to its own high. So here are your 3 live levels in order. 78.1670, the ceiling. Take that back and the record is real. 77.77, the shelf where buyers showed their hand 12 bars in a row. And 77.6318, Thursday's open and Thursday's low. Lose that one, and the gap back down to 77.48 finally comes into play. Those 3 lines are live right now. Most people will find out about them late. If you want the read before the open, the letter is free at trenchtom.com. Read the tape. That's the replay.